Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the virtual high banks of Talladega Superspeedway for Round 7 of Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. You join me live tonight on the PGR eSports Network. Qualifying is on the Speedway, and as we get you ready for 60 laps of action, we want to say good evening, welcome in, and we hope you enjoy tonight's race here live on PGR eSports. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Help us grow this incredible platform we've got going. And look, big things on the horizon. You don't want to miss a thing. So go ahead and subscribe now as we get into some bigger plans here in the summer. Again, you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to be right here and tuned in every time we're on the racetrack. A good one for you here tonight, round 7. 4 races left until the playoffs here for Tuesday Night Thunder. I'll be flying solo again. My name is Dawson Weiss. Glad to be joining you here live tonight. And again, regular season starting to dwindle to an end. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Crunch time. If you want to make your way in the postseason, you got to do so now. And a guy who made a statement last week in the regular season championship race was Matthew Baker. He got the victory last week, the first multi-time winner of season 4 of Tuesday Night Thunder. So impressive win for Baker last week. We'll see if he can go 3 for 3 this week and put his 3rd win on the board. He's 2nd on the qualifying charts right now as we get ready to go under the green flag for the first time. And again, the postseason field will be set in 4 weeks' time. We have a couple more interesting races before then. We go back to Atlanta once more before the playoffs. So a lot of fun stuff ahead here on Tuesdays as well. If you missed Thursday and Friday's races, they were really, really good. Thursday night, the trucks at Talladega here on PGR eSports for the Thursday Night Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Logan York became a PGR winner. Of course, he became a Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder winner back a few weeks ago here in the Xfinity cars. He got a Truck Series win, on Thursday as he picked up his first win in PGR eSports, at least in the Thursday night series. And then on Friday night, it was the reigning Little Guys champion, Mike Davenport, in the 55, who's also in the field tonight, who got the job done in that race as well. So Mike Davenport's had a heck of a 2 weeks. Logan York's had a heck of a few weeks. Both are in the field tonight, attempting to put their name back into the win column. Qualifying is done and over with, and that means it is time to go racing. For the first time, 60 laps the Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready to get underway. We'll give you your race info here briefly as the cars get onto the grid. Tuesday Night Thunder on PGR eSports. 60 laps in the Xfinity Series race cars. 40% fuel underneath these engines tonight. Unlimited tires. No fast repair available here tonight. And fixed setups. 3 green, white checkers is going to be your race info for tonight's race. So we're getting on the grid for the first time. You will hear cars roar to life on the grid here at Talladega Superspeedway, and that means it's time to go racing and to get into the starting grid for tonight's race. On the pole, a quick time of 54.417 seconds. It's the owner of Hyper Motorsports, the 92 multi-time PGR winner and 2023 PGR champion, John Ward in the 92. He'll roll off beside the driver of the 12, the driver in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. In the 12 machine tonight, it'll be the 1 on the car, the 12 in your timing and scoring. It'll be Garrett Maines. Row 2, the defending champion of Tuesday Night Thunder and a multi-time race winner in this series, still searching for his first win of season number 4. It's the 44 Premier Racing Setups Toyota Supra of Andrew Navarro. Starting 4th, a winner this season already for Team PGR, and a man poised to make a playoff run. A man who has seen a lot of aggression since that victory on that Tuesday night a few weeks back. J.R. Miller in the 78. He'll roll from 4th. Row 3, NBG Motorsports, Matthew Baker in the 5, the 2-time winner this season, looking to get the regular season championship as well as get the championship when we get to the playoffs, looking to make a playoff run. He'll roll from 5th to his outside. It'll be the driver for Kenneth Stamper Racing in the 89. I believe he'll be carrying the Jack Shack colors tonight. And that'll be the 89 of Trevor Oswornoth. Row 4, the 1 machine. It'll be the 12 on the side of the car, the Premier Racing Setups Lennox Industries Chevrolet, but it'll be the 1 on your timing and scoring. That is Jason Maines. To his outside of the McCullough Motorsports entry, the 2 of John Mullahan. Row 5 be the 7 of Jared Haynes, having a quietly very good season here on Tuesday nights. And his outside NBG Motorsports entry, Matt Lee. Row 6, it'll be Jeff Merck in the 60, also for NBG, a winner this season already. And he is in the playoffs as well, looking for a good finish tonight. It is outside the McCullough entry of David Sheets. Row 7, Tony Cox in a 72. He'll start 13th tonight alongside PGR eSports owner and owner of Team PGR. The 34 searching for his first win in Tuesday Night Thunder this season. That is Michael Triscaro. Row 8, a winner this season already, and the defending winner of the Thursday Night Intimidator Superspeedway Series, Logan York in the 02. He'll start from 15th. Is outside the McCullough Motorsports entry of Mark Vondell. Row 9, it'll be Zach Range in the 043, alongside the driver for Ryko, Mark Math in the 199. Row 10, William Schwindenhammer. He'll start from 19th position to his outside the 88 of Nathan Rostosil. Row 11, it'll be Mike Davenport in the 55, alongside, and it'll be Dylan Jones in the 11, also searching for his first win of this season 4. Row 12, Nash Brambilla for Team PGR, the 23. He'll start from 23rd to his outside his teammate, Brock Westmoreland in the 4. He'll start from 24th. Row 13, a pair of McCulloughs. Chris McCullough on the inside in the 04, the 03 of Kenny McCullough, the boss man. On the outside, Kenny, a multi-time RMR winner. Chris McCullough, searching for his first win this season, has run well, just looking to get to victory lane. Last 2 cars in the field tonight, David Drohan in the 42. He'll start 27th, and Stephen Harper in the 27. He will start from 28th. 28 cars have made the trip. You also have made the trip, and you join us now from Talladega Superspeedway as we are ready and geared up for 60 laps of action. Remember, a stage break will take place at lap number 20, at the conclusion of lap number 20. But until then, we've got some business to attend to, and we're about to get down to it here from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. John Ward, Garrett Maines bring the field to the restart zone for the first time, and they await the green flag as these engines will come to full song on the back straightaway. Green flag is in the air. We are racing in Tuesday Night Thunder. Off turn 4, headed for the trial for the first time to be John Ward for Hyper Motorsports. He will lead the way. Garrett Maines to his outside. Andrew Navarro pushing hard on the bottom with Matthew Baker. J.R. Miller, the pusher, on the top side of the speedway. Lap 1 down, lap 2 on the board. Again, the conclusion of lap 20 will be the stage break tonight. And you can tell already, we talked about it last week, we talk about it every week in this series, who wants to race and who does not. Who would rather go to the back, who would rather go to the front and try to get some stage points, because they're so important for the guys running for the regular season championship, running for those last few playoff spots. You can tell the level of importance. John Ward back and forth playing Pied Piper here at the front. He leads the first lap and a half, lap and 3/4 now as they're halfway through 3 and 4. They'll come off the banking one more time and down to the start-finish line, and Andrew Navarro sees his first window. He is out to the outside of John Ward. He wants the lead. The Premier Racing Setups Toyota Supra to the outside of John Ward. He wants the race lead in the trial, and he will get it. Give this lap to Andrew Navarro in the 44. Maines, Miller still pushing. Trevor Osborne out there as well as Sean Mullahan and Jeff Merck. Bottom side now, Garrett Maines leads that with John Ward, Matthew Baker, Jason Maines, and Jared Haynes in line. Garrett Maines, the MCU Body Ford Mustang, out to the lead for the first time tonight. He's looking to get back to victory lane for his second win of the season here in Tuesday Night Thunder, as he'll go to the point in turn 3 for the first time tonight. Jeff Merck, the first one to look 3 wide, and who else would go with him but the True Value IROC Chevrolet of Michael Triscaro. He jumps out to the outside safer barrier, but no dice going with him. No help up there. A couple cars trying to get up there to give him some help. They're not quite close enough yet. Merck will hang tough. They're going to try it. They're going to get some help here from Zach Range. Range goes topside. Davenport thought about it. He's still leaning. So is Nash Brambilla. Now Merck and Triscaro get back in line as Garrett Maines goes back and forth between the lanes. He's top to bottom in 1 and 2. Navarro now gets to his right rear quarter panel, waiting on a push from J.R. Miller, but the push is better on the bottom. John Ward pushing Garrett Maines. And off turn 2 comes the field and down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch for the 4th time tonight. And it'll be Andrew Navarro pulling alongside the race leader, Garrett Maines, as they head for turn number 3. Side by side, elbow to elbow, 2 wide, about as far as the eye can see. 10 rows deep here at the front of the field. Back to about Mike Davenport, Nash Brambilla, and appears to be Nathan Rostasil bringing up the rear of this group here, at least this lead part of this draft. A couple cars have lost the draft. Well, actually, no one's lost it quite yet. But a couple fading back towards the back. Still Garrett Maines at the front. 5 on the board now. If you're looking for drivers making moves, look no further than the driver of the 17, William Schwindenhammer, on the bottom behind Matt Lee, about 7 cars deep in line. He's up 7 spots from where he started. Brambilla, Davenport up 5 and 6 spots respectively. Andrew Navarro will go back to the point as Maines went top to bottom here onto the banking in 3 and 4. Navarro getting a nice healthy push from JR Miller. Ward all over the back end of Garrett Maines. Again, they will lean 3 wide further back. That's Jeff Merck. He leaned, stayed in line. Now he'll go, and he brings a now tightly grouped gaggle of cars, if you will, with him. He brings Michael Triscaro and Zach Range, and now this time Davenport and Nathan Rostasil are going to commit to it as well. So the top lane's got some energy early in the going here at Talladega. J.R. Miller jumps up in front of Jeff Merck, but he picked a weird time to do it. Maines up to the middle. The middle is falling apart here, the middle of 1 and 2, and it allowed John Ward to go back to the lead on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Matthew Baker on the bottom side only has Jason Maines in close help now. J.R. Miller leads the top lane, and he's coming to the front. He got out from behind Garrett Maines, wanted to jump up forward, get a little bit further up towards the front than he was right then, but not much going on there. Very disconnected up top now, Merck. Not sure what happened there going into 3. Those two got very disconnected, and now the top lane going to have to regroup and go after it once again. Through the tri-oval, lap 6 will be complete. Garrett Maines, John Ward, side by side still for the race lead. 14 laps to go in stage number 1. 54 laps to go in the race. They will have to pit once before the end of the stage. Logan York took a look 4 wide further back. That's not something you hear a lot here on Tuesday nights, but York thought about it, now still thinking about it. Logan York going to go 4 wide, now goes back down to 3 as Zach Range bails to the middle, says that's not worth it on lap number 7. I'm going to jump back in line. Here comes the top once again. J.R. Miller even with row number 3 as they head for the banking. Andrew Navarro, Garrett Maines continue to be side by side. Trevor Osmanoth and John Ward are the pushers in both lanes. Kind of surprised Trevor didn't take it right there up in front of the 3rd lane, but he stays in line nonetheless behind Andrew Navarro. And now they're going to look again. 4 wide further back. Logan York brings Chris McCullough with him, and they are 4 wide, 1 row deep in the field. Triscaro going to have to get a little bit wide and let that 0-2 have some room, and Merck's going to go with him and block him into the wall. Jeff Merck took the 0-2 of Logan York into the fence, and unfortunately it's going to cost all of those cars up there as they're still 4 wide, 2 rows deep now, make it 1 row again, and Merck and York are back in the outside fence. So that did not work for anybody involved. A pit stop coming here at the end of this stage, or towards the tail end of the stage, I should say. About lap 15 is when we expect him on pit road. Merck finds a spot in line in front of J.R. Miller. Davenport, York, the only 2 up in the top lane now. Maines, bottom to top, Pied Piper here at the front, but that allowed John Ward to get a nice push from Matthew Baker, and Ward will pull even for the race lead. But for how long? It's Maines and Navarro hooked up in the middle. Up the banking one more time. Big push on the bottom. John Ward clear by half a car length, but they're more connected up top. It'll be Garrett Maines going back to the lead on the backstretch. And again, we start to look for moves to be made, but now with only about 6 laps until the pit stop, I don't expect a ton more to happen in terms of 3 wide. Right as I say that, Michael Triscaro out in front of one of his team's cars. Mike Davenport, the only 2 to move right now, though. They'll need 1 more car at least if they want to make any hay up top against the safer barrier. So they'll wait for their help. No help coming. John Mullihan thinking about it, perhaps 3rd in line, but is going to hang where he's at. Zach Range, he going to go up there again? Yes, you better believe he is. He's going to split Logan York in the middle 3 wide, and Triscaro is rolling towards the front. And this time, Osmanoth may be peeking for temps, or he may be peeking to go 3 wide, but now if he wanted to go 3 wide, the time for that is done and over with. As Triscaro gets to his outside, Oh, big moment there off two. Garrett Maines up across the nose of Andrew Navarro. Almost got the one all out of shape, but everybody keeps it together. Down the backstretch once again. Davenport pushing Triscaro. Zach Range in support. Now J.R. Miller going to join the party as well up on the outside line. Navarro, does he think about jumping out there? Still 2x2 for 3 rows, then 3 wide for 4 rows behind the 6 race leaders here 2x2 at the front. Nobody showing any sign of jumping out of line, at least not at this portion of the race. Only about 5 laps until we hit that scheduled pit stop towards the end of the stage. Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro, elbow to elbow, side drafting hard at the front of the field, trying to jockey for the lead. Off turn number 2, again, no movement really. The third lane is kind of stalled right around John Mullihan and Trevin Osbornoth, but now it starts to roll forward again. They'll get as close as even with the 89 and the 92, but that's as close as they can get that time by. They'll have to regroup and try it again. Maines, Navarro, still side by side for the race lead as the field works its way onto the front stretch again. Nice wide shot of this sprawling field here at the front. 28 cars deep here on a Tuesday night. Oh, big moment between Ward, Maines, and Baker. That was close to being an incident there at the front. Everybody keeps it together, though. First 12 laps up and down quickly here at Talladega as we approach that first pit stop. John Mullihan, my goodness, squeezed into a gap there behind Jason Maines in front of Jaron Haynes. And now, as drivers start to migrate to the bottom of the racetrack, pit stops are approaching. Top side still not really rolling. Garrett Maines back down to the bottom side. This might allow that top line to roll, but now Davenport has to back out. And that may be all she wrote for the top line for now. And they're going to start to fade backwards. They're as far back now as Matt Lee and Jason Maines. Off turn 4, no takers this time on pit road, but again, it will not be very long before we do see a bit of a party on pit road. A rendezvous, if you will, as these drivers come for their first round of service. If you can believe it, this is what they consider calm racing in this activity. This is as calm as it's going to get the rest of the night because everybody knows a pit stop is coming. Everybody knows we have that stage break. It's a long race tonight, so everybody's kind of just minding their P's and Q's. And not to mention a very talented field. Some call this the all-star race of every week because of the field that's in here, considering the level of competition that we've seen in this series over the past couple of seasons. Triscaro, Davenport, the only two up on the top lane. They're both going to find spots in the middle, and now we'll start to migrate to the bottom as the rest of the field begins to migrate down there as well. Zach Range, J.R. Miller, Logan York, and others have migrated their way to the bottom side of the racetrack and will pit, we assume, sometime in the next 2 laps. One car is on pit road already. It is Kenny McCullough in the 0-3, an unscheduled pit stop, I believe. Mark Von Dell, Stephen Harper, Mark Math have all lost the draft, which leaves 24 of the 28 cars in the lead draft. Off turn number 4 again. They will come here in a moment. Will anybody duck to pit road here on lap 14? Coming to 6 laps to go in stage number 1. No takers there. Nope, a few towards the back. It is William Schwindenhammer and Jaron Haynes. They will come to pit road right here. Trevor Osbornoth up and around. He's going to go all the way towards the back, try to find himself a spot in line. 6 laps to go, stage number 1, and the pit stop is imminent. Who will be the first of the leaders to take it? We saw Haynes and Schwindenhammer pit. You imagine the rest of the leaders will not be far behind. It'll be pretty short order. Huge push on the outside. Garrett Maines and Andrew Navarro shot out of a cannon down the Alabama Gang super stretch. They'll both transition to the bottom and now look towards pit stops. Chris McCullough, Michael Triscaro on the outside with Matt Lee, Mike Davenport, J.R. Miller, and Nash Brambilla. So 4 of the PGR cars, an NBG car, and a McCullough Motorsports car. Now Triscaro dives to the bottom of the racetrack, and they will pit here. Navarro, Maines, Ward, and several others. We'll get you an idea of who that is. Maines, Navarro, Ward, Triscaro, Range, York, Drohan, Mullihan, Merck, and David Sheets. Rest of the field stays on the racing surface for now. Lap 16 on the board. 5 laps to go in stage 1. One car going to get lapped here on the back straightaway. That is Stephen Harper. Not sure what happened to the 27. Saw him lose the draft at the beginning of the race, and he's going to go a lap down. Davenport got a fine spot in line. Imagine he'll get it in front of his teammate J.R. Miller. Here's the rest of these cars. Should come to pit road. Here this time by, they'll be led on by Chris McCullough, and here comes the rest of the lead pack. Oh, man, Chris McCullough awfully hot, and that's going to be a speeding penalty, no doubt about it, for the 94. We'll have to wait and see. We'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a cut and dry speeding penalty for the 94, Chris McCullough. Everybody else on pit road: Matthew Baker, Matt Lee, J.R. Miller, Jason Maines, Trevor Osborne, Tony Cox, Nathan Rostisil, Mike Davenport, Dylan Jones, Nash Brambilla, Brock Westerlin, and as I said, Chris McCullough. And you see him sitting in his pit box. A speeding penalty for Chris McCullough in the 94. A tough break for that machine early in this race. Baker the first one off pit road. Nathan Rostisil as well had some problems on pit road, so he will remain sitting in his pit box as well. And this is a great cycle by this second group. The former lead group, now led by John Ward and Michael Triscaro, and Garrett Maines is just now getting to him. Oh, man, squirrely back there. They're going to fan out right here at the front, and this is going to get awfully sketchy. Dylan Jones and Jason Maines went to the outside. Ward and Triscaro have a huge run. They take it all the way to the outside wall. They're going to be 4 wide for a moment. Garrett Maines, Andrew Navarro trying to skate through it, but now they have to lift. Andrew Navarro, John Mullahan, David Sheets got the worst end of that as they had to back out of it. Almost trouble at the front between Jason Maines and Michael Triscaro. 4 wide with Dylan Jones, Logan York, Andrew Navarro, and Jeff Merck. 3 laps to go at the line in stage 1, and they're bouncing off each other. On the outside of the racetrack, 3 wide. Here comes Garrett Maines. Michael Triscaro pushed by Dylan Jones in the middle, and on the bottom side, it's John Ward pushed by Jason Maines. Stage win's so important because it means you could get that ever-important point to get you closer to a regular season title. 3 by 3, going to be 4 by 4. John Mullahan, Jeff Merck, but now they bail. Merck to the outside wall. He'll get put 4 wide by John Mullahan. Nash Brambilla dives back in line, and again we file back into 3 wide. These guys are ever anxious to race tonight. My goodness. Ward middle line now in front of Triscaro. Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro on the bottom. Garrett Maines, Logan York, John Mullahan outside. At the line, 2 more times around Talladega Superspeedway in stage number 1. Great racing so far. Ward still out front. He'll transition back to the bottom in front of Jason Maines as they climb the banking in 1 and 2. Triscaro door-to-door, elbow-to-elbow with the 92 of John Ward and the 12 of Jason Maines on the back straightaway. Mullahan went backwards. He's still going backwards. Trevor Osborne's going to have to split middle. And it's Triscaro, a surge to the lead in turn 3 with the help of Dylan Jones. Michael Triscaro, the True Value Chevrolet, he's on a mission tonight. He wants to get the stage win. He wants to go to victory lane. Can he get the job done tonight? Finally break this long, cold streak that he's had in these big races. Ward back middle. Triscaro, no thoughts of splitting quite yet. Too early in the race for that. At the line, we'll see the stage white flag right here. 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Outside line rolling again. It's Matthew Baker and Nash Brambilla. Jeff Merck has joined the fray as well. Garrett Maines dropping all the way out. He's going to go to the back. He does not like what he sees. Does Triscaro take a right out of line? Here comes Matthew Baker. It's Dylan Jones that moves first. Triscaro tried, almost hooks Ward in front of the field. Contact between Ward and Jones. Dylan Jones to the outside. He's going to get to the lead in 3. Ward all over the place. Jones in the middle. Trouble. Michael Triscaro around. Jeff Merck going to get turned. The caution flag will wave. And Dylan Jones wins stage 1 of Tuesday Night Thunder as the field rolls off turn 4 and fans out under our first caution flag of the night. Dylan Jones, you'll see him cross the line. Stage points will go to Dylan Jones, Jason Maines, John Ward, Matthew Baker, and Nash Brambilla. And we will go back and show you what triggered this wreck about halfway back in the field with Michael Triscaro. Let's see what happened here. He was pushing John Ward. Oh, too fast. I think Ward and Triscaro attempt a side draft here. You see some contact there as these guys try to get hooked back up. And watch now as Triscaro and Ward go to the third lane almost to try to side draft Dylan Jones and Matthew Baker and pull them backwards headed into turn number 3. Watch right here. You see them. And look at Range and York. They hook a left. They take the gap. And when Range and York go 4, as Ward and Triscaro come back down, obviously not quite clear. And it starts an incident. Andrew Navarro goes sliding down, and man, on rushing Jeff Merck, innocent bystander. He clobbers the outside wall. His night likely over. And they slide down, all things considered. Only 3 cars involved, I think. Here comes Matt Lee flying into this. John Mullahan flying into this. He misses Triscaro. Does he miss Jeff Merck? I think he probably gets it woed down enough by then. We'll take another look at it here from up above and show you exactly what I'm talking about here on the end of the back straightaway. So you see Baker and Dylan Jones when this offset push happens here off 2. Watch this right here. So watch this offset push from Triscaro to Ward. It's right here. He gets him up, and he's going to get him on the left side, get him to his left. Now he's going to try to correct back to his right, and it's this push here. Gets Ward out of line, and now watch this. They hit again here in the middle of the back straightaway. Ward saves it again. John Ward, by the way, props. Incredible job of driving right here at the front. I thought he was a goner on that first push. And now watch. Dylan Jones, Matthew Baker, they have a massive run up on the outside. There's another offset push. And now as Ward and Triscaro, we're going to try to come back down. You see Zach Range gets the nose in. And when they come back down, Triscaro follows Ward down, and Zach Range is already there. And collects Michael Triscaro and Andrew Navarro. And now here comes Jeff Merck. Blows the front end off the 60 machine. Unfortunately, might be a night ender for Jeff Merck, and that's a tough break, again, for a guy who was mostly minding his own business. Triscaro has big damage, and Andrew Navarro went for a slide as well. We'll take one more look at it here. As you see right here, watch Navarro, you're going to be able to see Navarro slide to the inside here. And right there's the contact, Triscaro and Merck, and then Merck into the outside wall. And the front end comes off of the 60. And again, it will likely end his night prematurely at the end of stage number 1. So we're under the caution flag for the first time. It was about to come out anyway for the stage break, but a wreck in turn number 3 has brought the stage to a premature end. Dylan Jones is awarded the stage win. John Ward has won the race off pit road. He will start out front of the field when we go back green next time by on lap number 24. So it'll be 37 laps to go when we go back green. Stage break is done and over with, and now it'll likely be 2 pit stops to the end should we go green from here to lap 60. And I'd imagine, now that the race has calmed down a little bit, or excuse me, now that the stage break is completed, I would imagine the racing would calm back down just a tad, and these guys will go back to racing how they normally do. It was some of the hardest stage racing we've seen in a long time in this series. Not sure what's on these guys' minds tonight, but nonetheless, a very aggressive start to this one. Imagining now, again, it will calm back down with still over half the race to go. And we'll re-rack and restack the field for you. It'll be lap 24 when we go back green. John Ward is your leader. Zach Range is second. J.R. Miller third. Matt Lee fourth. Garrett Maines is 5th, Matthew Baker is 6th, Jason Maines 7th, Logan York 8th, Mike Davenport 9th, and David Sheets is 10th. We'll go and do a full field rundown for you while we're at it. Ashburn Billa is 11th, John Mullahan is 12th, it is Mark Math 13th, Nathan Rostisel 14th, Jared Ains 15th, it is David Drohan in 16th, it is William Schwindenhammer 17th, Stephen Harper in the 18th position, he's back on the lead lap. Mark Von Dell is 19th. Brock Westmoreland is 20th. Tony Cox 21st. Trevin Osbornoff 22nd. Chris McCullough 23rd. Dylan Jones 24th. Kenny McCullough 25th. Andrew Navarro 26th. Jeff Merck has remained on pit road and continues to try to fix that car. He is already going to be on the tail end of the lead lap. And Michael Triscaro is back on the speedway on the lead lap in 27th position. Stage break is over. Green flag from here on out. No pre-planned cautions anyway. From here to the end of this race, no more pre-planned cautions. John Ward, Zach Range bring you back into the restart zone. Both looking for their first wins of Season 4. 3 winners behind them, though. J.R. Miller, Garrett Maines, and Matthew Baker all wait in the wings, trying to repeat as winners here tonight. John Ward in the restart zone. 37 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air, and away we go towards turn number 1. No run on the outside. J.R. Miller may have spun the rear tires, and Zach Range has no help. Meanwhile, the bottom goes nicely. Matt Lee in behind John Ward, with Garrett Maines in behind the 04 of Matt Lee. Lee will get clear of Range. Let's see if he jumps to the outside and goes to try to get to the front. He will stay put for now. Bottom lane still rolling. Now the top lane tries to surge back to the outside. But no surge yet. They still have yet to get a run. The bottom line is still connected 4 deep in line. Garrett Maines is clear to the outside. So is Matt Lee. But no moves from either of them yet. Now they start to lean. Garrett jumps up. Matt Lee going to stay put. Now he'll jump up as well. And John Ward has no help. He's by his lonesome here, waiting on the help of Jason Maines. Matt Lee for NBG Motorsports. Now he jumps to the outside. He grabs the lead and drops back down. He didn't want to, I don't think, but dropped down anyway. Garrett Maines, Zach Range said, okay, I'll take that. Thank you very much. They go to the lead. They split now. Maines stays top. Range goes bottom. Zach Range will poke the nose out front with trouble further back. Cars wrecking on the bottom side of the racetrack. Nathan Rostasil is around, and another car is around as well. They're going to keep it on the speedway, or off the speedway, excuse me, as it's Nate Rostasil and Mark Math that have gone around on the backstretch and split this field up. Again, staying green, so we'll have to keep it here. We'll go back and take a look if we get a caution and we get a chance. John Ward is coming to pit road. Unsure what happened here on the 92, a development in this race. Rasta still heads to pit road. Now so does John Ward, and this has seriously split the field up here at the front. So the first 9 cars under a blanket, then David Sheets in no man's land in 10th. I'm trying to see if anybody's lost a draft. Does not look like anybody has lost a draft, other than Matt and Rostasil. And now John Ward. Up front, because of that little scramble here at the front of the field, it is J.R. Miller that now goes to the lead with Garrett Maines, Zach Range in support. Matthew Baker is top with Jason Maines, John Mullahan, and Matt Lee. Nash Brambilla, Mike Davenport, David Sheets wait in the wings. And then that second group is led by Mark Vondell. They will reform with the lead group here in just a moment. 34 laps to go from Talladega, and again about another 10 laps or so till our first of 2 green flag pit stops on this run, and our second of 3 of the night. 2-time winner Matthew Baker, he wants to lead up on the outside line of the racetrack. He's got help from Jason Maines, John Mullahan, and Matt Lee. Drag race down the back straightaway. Garrett Maines now pushing on the bottom behind J.R. Miller. He will push the 78 back out to the lead. Again, the new look aboard J.R. Miller's car tonight, a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. Still looks fast out front. He'll go back to the bottom side with Garrett Maines jumping out from around him. He wants to lead, and it'll be Garrett Maines now going to the front with the help of Matthew Baker. Give that lap to Garrett Maines. The 1 is going to get clear of J.R. Miller. He'll transition back down and jump in front of the field. Matthew Baker is still with help from Jason Maines, Sean Mullahan, and Matt Lee. They're the only 4 cars up close to the front on the outside. David Drohan is up there as well, but he's about 8 car lengths back, and now he finds a spot in line in front of Dylan Jones and a couple of others. Matthew Baker surges to the lead down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. He'll go to the lead in 3. Now he leads in front of Garrett Maines, and it's only Jason Maines, Sean Mullahan, and Matt Lee on the outside of the racetrack. Long single file line along the bottom side of the speedway. 32 laps to go, and we come back down. Garrett Maines jumps back out from behind Matthew Baker. He'll try to reflop the lead in the tri-oval. They'll be side by side and elbow to elbow as they cross back by the line. Lap 29 goes back on the board. One car out of line. That was Matt Lee. He jumps from top to bottom and rejoins that line 5th deep behind Nash Brambilla. Matthew Baker, 2-time winner this season, looking to be the first one to get to 3 wins after he was the first one to get to 2. J.R. Miller almost follows him up the racetrack, but Matthew Baker still all good there. No harm, no foul. Some innocent door slamming between Garrett Maines and J.R. Miller. 2 laps short of halfway, probably about, let's say 10 away from the pit stop or so, maybe a little bit less than that. Lap 37, 38 is when we fully expect that first pit stop to occur. As up at the front, Baker went top. Garrett Maines flip-flops, goes bottom. And now Jason Maines will be pushing Matthew Baker instead of Garrett Maines. And big gap being left on the bottom now. Zach Range jumped out of line and abandoned the bottom lane to go to the top side. As the field will lap by the former leader, John Ward. Unsure what happened to the 92 on that pit cycle, but a penalty must have come to the 92 either on the restart or on the pit stop under the caution flag, because he waited about 2 laps after the restart and then came to pit road and served the penalty. It'll be 1 lap down. It will reassimilate here with the field. And should a caution come out, he should be the lucky dog if that were to happen again. David Drohan, by the way, starting to make his way forward. He's up 17 spots from where he started, and he's 4th in the outside line, now only about 2 car lengths off the bumper of Zach Range. Halfway this time by. Cross flags at the flag stand. That means halfway home in Tuesday Night Thunder. And it's Matthew Baker, a familiar sight, as the 5 car continues to lead the way at Talladega. So down the backstretch again, Baker, big wide swing out to the outside up in front of Jason Maines will allow Garrett Maines to remain the leader now in 3 and 4 as he is pushed by J.R. Miller and Nash Brambilla, the pair of teammates on the bottom. Another car that has kind of silently made his way forward, that is Chris McCullough, has kind of reforged his way to the front. He's gotten all the way back to 10th position after we saw the issues earlier in the race. And the speeding penalty under the green flag pit stop at the end of stage number 1. Baker leads the top side. Maines leads the bottom side, elbow to elbow, as some more cars have joined the top side. Trevor Osbornoff, Brock Westmerl, and Logan York say it is time to go, and the energy automatically comes to the top side as more cars join the line. Matthew Baker back to the lead in 3 and 4. But now it is 7 cars deep on the outside instead of 4. Off turn number 4 again. 28 laps to go, and we get back to the start-finish line. We are approaching another green flag pit stop, we believe to be the first of 2 on this, the longer 40-lap stint of stage number 2. Headed for turn 1. Maines, Baker still side by side as he's kind of become gridlock here at the front of the field. No one really getting an advantage. Both pushers are hot, and it's not allowing either car up front to get clear and be able to control the lanes like we see these guys do. But this time, they will. Matthew Baker back to the race lead. Now he drops in front of Garrett Maines and allows Jason a chance to cool up top. And now allows John Mullihan a chance to push up top, and that's going to bring Jason Maines right to the right flank of Matthew Baker for at least a moment here off turn number 4. As Jason Maines tries to come even with the leaders, he will grab the right recorder panel of Matthew Baker, and he'll be even as they come to the tri-oval again, about 5 laps short of pit stop number 2 here at Talladega Superspeedway. You're watching Tuesday Night Thunder live on PGR eSports. 34 laps are on the board of our 60 scheduled laps tonight. And it is hot, heavy racing here at the front. Again, 8 cars deep up top, back to David Drohan. 16 of our 28 that started the race are double file. John Ward is a lap down. Started on the pole and had a penalty on the yellow flag pit stop of the stage break, and now has to try to rebound from that lap deficit. Matthew Baker bottom to middle in front of Jason Maines. Garrett Maines gets a nice shove on the bottom, and this time he may get clear, and he may be able to switch lanes and allow J.R. Miller to cool off. And he will, so move J.R. Miller back to the lead spot on the bottom, and Garrett Maines to the lead spot on the outside line. Through the trial once again, Garrett Maines even up with J.R. Miller, who gets a nice shove from Nash Bramilla, his Team PGR teammate. They've got Matt Lee in tow, but the top line is basically 3 cars connected. Garrett Maines, Matthew Baker, and Jason Maines. They'll have to come off of each other here in 1 and 2, and allows J.R. Miller again to drive back to the bottom with the help of Nash Bramilla and Matt Lee. No 3 wide yet. Andrew Navarro has jumped up top as well in behind Logan York. But no 3 wide. Maines top to bottom. Back in front of J.R. Miller. Lap 35 on the board. We expect a pit stop around lap 38, 39. And that would mean they would be good until about lap 54 or so, depending on saving, obviously, and how much these guys are getting to a tank. I'm basing it on 15, which is about when we saw most guys pit. They actually went a little bit longer than that, so we may be looking closer to 41. If we're looking at closer to 41, these guys are going to probably try and stretch it out and get this tank to get to about 42, 43, in which case they might be able to make it to the end. Top line's got some steam, and it's Logan York and Andrew Navarro, and David Drohan's going to come with him as the middle has fallen apart behind Matthew Baker and Jason Maines. Sean Mullahan, Trevor Osbornoff, Brock Westmerle, and now David Drohan stay in line. But a lot of free real estate up on the top side of the racetrack. Logan York takes it. Now so does Jason Maines. Middle line very separated now. Matthew Baker, John Mullahan, Trevor Osbornoff not close to connected. Top line will get the best roll, and it may bring all 3 of those cars back to the front. Jason Maines to the right elbow of Matthew Baker, but not going to work. Logan York bails. He jumps to the middle in behind John Mullahan. He'll let Jason Maines in line, and Andrew Navarro will have to file in, likely behind Trevor Osbornoff. Unsure what happened there. That was an awfully abrupt ending to that 3 wide. But it ends nonetheless, and the outside's still very disorganized and allows Garrett Maines to maintain his chokehold on a lead. As pit stops loom in the next 4 laps or so. Top line reconnected now with Mullahan on the back bumper of Baker. But Garrett Maines continues to stay along the yellow line on the bottom side of the racetrack and keep that faster line moving. Baker now gets a nice shove here off turn number 4 from John Mullahan. And they will go all the way to the right elbow and even up now with the 1. As 3 cars have kind of separated themselves here on the outside. Baker, Mullahan, and Jason Maines. Here comes Logan York and Andrew Navarro back to try to help. Just not a lot they can do. That outside line, I'm not sure what's going on up there, but there's just not a lot of energy, not a lot of push. And so there's just not much they can get going. Almost contact there. J.R. Miller, Matthew Baker almost came together. And that's going to separate the bottom and now allow the top line to roll just as soon as I said it wasn't. They roll and pull even, in fact, a little bit ahead. Logan York bails bottom. Matt Lee goes bottom to top. A lot of lane switching going on further back as guys try to find their dance partners. Guys try to find their spots for pit stops. All kinds of different things happening, and here's the first round of them. Off turn number 4, Baker's going to pit from the middle, and so is Mullahan. These guys are awfully hot getting on pit road. Garrett Maines, J.R. Miller on the bumpers of each other. And J.R. Miller slides off pit road. Garrett Maines slides it loose, and Miller will receive the penalty on pit road with 22 to go. J.R. Miller likely a night ender without a caution. And in this group, Mullahan, Baker, Maines, Jason Maines, Logan York, Jared Haynes, Mark Mondell, Zach Range, Nash Brambilla, David Drohan, and obviously J.R. Miller on pit road this time by. Cars that lost the draft. Kenny McCullough lost the draft in that exchange. William Schwindenhammer lost the draft. He's a lap down. So is Michael Triscaro. So is Stephen Harper. Mark Math, Nathan Rostasel, multiple laps down. Jeff Merck called it a night, I believe, from 28th. Second group on pit road, and here they come. Are there any mistakes in this group? Couple that looked like they may have been hot on speed, but it looks like everybody got in okay. This group is Matt Lee, Andrew Navarro, Chris McCullough, Mike Davenport, Trevor Osbornoff, David Sheets, Brock Westmerlin, and Tony Cox. And John Ward trouble on pit road. It's Mike Davenport. He goes for a spin on pit road and goes now backwards into the pit wall, and now is trying to get it refired and get it going off the pit wall. This will likely be a night ender for him as well. Everybody else appears to be clean on and off pit road. Second group on and off. And we await that first group with Matthew Baker that's just now in the trial, but they are very separated, and they've lost a few cars. Jason Maines, Mike Davenport, Jason Maines, Jared Haynes, Mark Vondell, John Mullahan have all lost this lead draft. So we're weeding out some cars. Baker will come around the leaders here off turn 2. He'll come around Tony Cox. But Matt Lee will cycle out as your race leader. They're going to have a big run. They're going to be here in a moment, but nonetheless, they will hold the lead for now. Matt Lee into turn 3 with Chris McCullough, Andrew Navarro, Dylan Jones, Trevor Osbornoff in line. But here comes that second group led by Matthew Baker. They will rejoin the lead group. And up to the front they come with 21 laps to go. One more pit stop left in tonight's race. At some point in the next 21 laps, you'll have to come down and pit for more fuel to get you to the end of this race. About a 14, 15 lap fuel run that time around. Here come Baker, Maines, and Nash Brambilla up on the outside. They leave Trevor Osbornoff by himself on the bottom. And now everybody's going to single file out except for Garrett Maines, who's trying to bully his way in the line, but nobody willing to give him a spot. Topside rolling again. Baker, Brambilla, Maines, Range, York. They'll come up on the lap machine of Michael Triscaro, who will go a second lap down after his misfortune earlier, getting involved in the incident early in this race. New leader at Talladega with 19 laps to go. It's the Coasting Thunder Intimidator Superspeedway Series Chevrolet of Matthew Baker. He goes to the race lead with the help of Nash Brambilla, the driver for Team PGR. Garrett Maines is there as well. Matt Lee on the bottom still holding serve, trying to keep himself in contention. Down the backstretch, Brambilla and Baker will go door to door as Garrett Maines starts to try to push on the outside. Again, one pit stop left. The window for that will open in about 4 to 5 laps. So we expect drivers to be on pit road at some point starting in the next 4 laps. I don't know if they'll pit short or if they'll run it long. They'll perhaps run it long, which in that case would put them right in the window of about 7 laps to go when they make the final pit stop. Brambilla even with Baker for the lead. Garrett Maines chipping away, trying to get the 23 to the race lead. Just no luck so far. Dylan Jones off the racetrack further back inside of Logan York. Everybody gets it gathered back up. 18 laps to go if you're just joining us. Tuesday Night Thunder at Talladega has weeded out some of the drivers on pit stops, so we will regroup the field and give you a little bit of a rundown here of this lead pack. Matthew Baker leads. Nash Brambilla second. Garrett Maines, Matt Lee are in this pack as well. Chris McCullough and Zach Range. And Range is coming to pit road here with 18 to go. Perhaps a penalty on the 43. Man, pit road is eating them for breakfast tonight. So now we'll completely redo that again. So Baker, Lee, Brambilla, Chris McCullough, Garrett Maines, Navarro, York, Jones, Osbornoff, Drohan, and David Sheets are the 11 cars in your lead draft. The next draft after that, Brock Westmoreland is by himself in 12th. Jared Haynes, Tony Cox, Jason Maines, Mark Vondell are 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Then further back from them, it's John Mullahan and Kenny McCullough, 17th and 18th. Zach Range by himself in 19th. Davenport and Schwindenhammer, 20th and 21st, the last of the lead lap cars. Schwindenhammer actually just went a lap down, so he'll be the first car lap down. Triscaro the second. Stephen Harper the third. John Ward is the fourth. And John Ward may actually be 2 laps down. I'll double check that. No, he's only 1. J.R. Miller is multiple laps down on pit road, still in the 78 after the penalty on the last stop. Mark Math, Nathan Rostasil have both called in an evening here early, as well as Jeff Merck. 16 laps to go. Matt Lee out from around Matthew Baker, and he'll have the big run down the backstretch with the help of Nash Brambilla. Matt Lee will get clear of Baker. Maybe not. Thought he was. He will not get clear of the 5 car into 3. Brambilla will have to continue to push as Mike Davenport will go a lap down. Move Mike Davenport to the lucky dog spot for a moment. Still only about 11 cars in this lead group. And really not a ton of teammates, if you will. Matt Lee, Matthew Baker, you could say. Other than that, really no teammates in this lead pack. Chris McCullough and David Sheets would be the only pair of teammates in this lead draft. 15 laps to go. The pit window will open this time. The final pit stop of the night is going to take place. At any moment now it could happen. From now until about 7 to go is when the window will last. Let's see who decides to perhaps go off strategy to try to win this race. Lead out of the bottom. He leads now. Matt Lee, the 0-4, the leader at Talladega, as Nash Brambilla leads the outside with Garrett Maines, Logan York, and David Drohan in tow. They will continue to try to get the lead, but not a ton of help up there anymore, so they may have to perhaps drop in. Perhaps pit stops coming here early in this run. We'll see. As only 4 cars remain on the outside, 7 on the bottom. We'll kind of give you a lay of the land here before this last pit stop. We have multiple winners in this pack. Matthew Baker, a 2-time winner. Garrett Maines, a winner this season, as well as Logan York. As they all have wins here in this season. Double checking to make sure that I'm not forgetting anybody up here at the front. But I am not. It's only those 3 that are former winners. Everybody else that you see in this lead pack could use a win to get into the playoffs. 13 laps to go. We are down to it. It has been clean, green, but intense here at the front of the field for the last about 25 laps or so since we went back green. It's been really good stuff. We've had a pit cycle since then that has, again, weeded out several cars from this lead draft. Now Garrett Maines, Logan York, the only ones up on the outside line. Only 11 of the 28 that started are in the lead draft. Back to David Drohan in position number 11. Last pit stop of the night coming at any moment here. The window's open, so it could happen at any moment. On any of these laps, we could see the final pit stop cycle get underway. Garrett Maines, Logan York, they're hanging tough, but unfortunately, with no help up top, they're going to have to probably just bail and find a spot in line as we prepare for this final pit stop. Only 11 cars in the lead draft. It shouldn't be too big an issue to go back there and drop in line and get the track position back later. Matt Lee continues to lead the race, the green and black Martin Sports GTR Ford Mustang. Continues to lead the way, show the way at the point. No takers still off turn number 4 on pit road, and so we will bypass another lap. At the line, 1 pit stop remains, 11 laps to go from Tuesday Night Thunder at Talladega. It's Matt Lee, Nash Brambilla, Garrett Maines, Matthew Baker, Logan York, the top 5 again. 2 of those 5 have won races, 3 of those 5 have won races this season. Only Matt Lee and Nash Brambilla lack the 1 in the win column of the top 5. Everybody behind the top 5 is also not in the win column yet. Chris McCullough does not have a win this season. Neither does Andrew Navarro. How about Dylan Jones, Trevor Osborne, David Sheets, David Drohan, all looking for win number 1 on Season 4. Off turn 4 again. Any takers this time? No. 11 laps to go here and gone. And so at the line, 10 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder. We'll hit single digits next time by as we await this final pit stop. Garrett Maines, Logan York make some more hay. They get even with the leader, but that's as far as they can get. No momentum coming to the outside line anytime soon because no one's going up there to help. Off the backstretch again. One more time. Matt Lee still at the point. Garrett Maines, Logan York are hanging in, just trying to hang tough, but with no other help. They come off each other again. I just don't think this is going to work out for them. They're going to have to just go back to the back and find a spot in line and go for the track position later. Off turn 4 with 10 laps to go. Any takers this time? No. Again, they will bypass pit road, and now single-digit laps remain. 9 laps to go, Tuesday Night Thunder. Through 1 and 2 again, Lee, Brambilla, Baker pull clear on the bottom side of the racetrack. Still Maines and York on the top, trying to make anything work, but nobody else still willing to go up there with them, and all they're doing is burning extra fuel up there. Off turn 4 again. The window's still open for pit road. Off turn 4. How about this time? Anybody coming down this time? No. We'll bypass another lap. By the way, every single group not in this lead trap has lost at least 5 seconds since we last checked on them. Jason Maines and company now 15 seconds back in the lead. They need a caution to come out at some point in the next 7 laps before we get to the white flag for them to have any shot in this race. Garrett Maines, by the way, just got to the lead as I was looking at the running order as Andrew Navarro tipped the scale up there on the outside and got the 1 to the front. But now the problem is the 0 to the 44 trying to come forward, and they have the same problem, no help. I figured 7 laps to go for the final pit stop. This is 8. Let's see if anybody pits right here off turn number 4. No takers. So next time is the target lap. 7 is what I said. It'll be about 14 laps since most of our leaders came to pit road with 21 laps to go. A few of the lap cars on pit road, including Michael Triscaro, Jared Haynes, William Schwindenhammer. And Logan York's going to get split 3 wide right as the top line starts to work. Chris McCullough jumped out. So did Dylan Jones. Now Matt Lee does as well. And now all of a sudden, guys are looking for track position. Off turn 4, here comes the first round of pit stops. Navarro, Jones, McCullough, Sheets, and Lee stay out. Maines, Brambilla, Baker, Oswornoth, York, and Drohan come to pit road. A dead even split strategy with 6 laps to go. Imagine Lee and company. Will come to pit road this time by. They'll have to. I mean, they have no choice with 6 laps to go. You got to maintain pace with the leaders. You got to do something here. Off turn 4, final pit stop for the rest of the leaders. Lee, Navarro, Jones, McCullough onto pit road. They'll bring David Sheets with them, who has to come in really hot. And I believe the 06 might be speeding. We'll keep it here, double check for you. Meanwhile, the other group, I believe, is all together. Nope, they've lost 1 car. Logan York, they've lost 2 cars. Logan York and David Drohan. But I think Logan York has the draft. Sorry, David Drohan's lost it. Well, now he's got it as well. Here comes the group off pit road. David Sheets was not speeding. David Sheets, one of the best pit entries I've ever seen. I have no idea how that car was not speeding. Here come Baker and company. They are going to be up alongside the leaders by the time they hit the super stretch. The problem is Garrett Maines and Logan York have kind of ruined this group's momentum by jumping to the outside of the racetrack, trying to race before they even get back to the leaders. So now the problem is wow, Matthew Baker throws a big block there on Garrett Maines. The problem is now the leaders, who were the leaders right there, are now able to stay the leaders because this group behind them started a race. Andrew Navarro leading the way, looking for win number 1 in the championship defense season, but it's not going to be very easy. He goes middle because here comes Matthew Baker topside. The 2-time winner and defending winner last season up to the outside of the racetrack, and he will inherit the race lead. 4 laps to go at Talladega. He brings with him Garrett Maines and Logan York. He's going to stay up. Now he'll transition down to the middle. Does Navarro hang the left and go to the bottom? No. Does Matt Lee hang the left and go to the bottom? No. Chris McCullough does. How about the 94? Watch for Brambilla, Trevin Osbornoff, Dylan Jones to perhaps get a run going. Was the move too early for Baker, Maines, and York? Brambilla in behind Garrett Maines. Now they got to regroup and get that run back going. Navarro hangs the left. He goes to the bottom. Matt Lee goes with him. They hang Baker out on the top side. New leader at Talladega. It's Andrew Navarro in the 44. Logan York will get back to the back bumper of Matthew Baker. They'll have a nice push. One car up ahead. Can't quite tell which car that was. It's about to go another lap down. That is Mike Davenport in the 55. Lee to the outside. He wants to lead. 3 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder. Big push coming from Matthew Baker. Lee's loose. They're going to wreck at the front of the field. The big one is struck with 3 laps to go. Who gets away from it? Trouble at the front of the field and involves Matt Lee, David Sheets, Chris McCullough, Andrew Navarro, and Trevin Osbornoff. And with 3 to go, you just brought several cars back into this race. We'll give you an idea of that in a moment. But we'll go back and take a look at what caused the wreck. It was up front with Matt Lee, jumped to the outside, and as Matthew Baker got to him, you can see just how big a push this was going to be. To the back of Matthew Baker as Matt Lee gets the push right here. Oh, man. Big push gets Lee all kinds of out of whack. He goes sideways. Andrew Navarro, how much damage does the 44 have? Then Lee gets turned a second time here by Chris McCullough. Dylan Jones gets involved. Andrew Navarro keeps it straight, so he's going to be still in this one. But several other cars are not. Chris McCullough probably gets the brunt of this. Trevin Osbornoff, I don't really think Trevor was involved, as much as he just had to slow down. The track was blocked, and he had to kind of slow down, get out of the gas. Take one more look at it. Then we're going to go back and watch the wreck from earlier in the race that I said we would get to. Watch it back here from Trevor Osbornoff. We'll go from a different angle, though. You're going to see up ahead Matt Lee get turned on the left side of your screen, and then you'll see kind of what the secondary action here, which is what I'm focused on. Lee, Navarro, Chris McCullough come together there. Dylan Jones going to get into it. And yeah, Trevor wasn't really involved just as much as he's got out of the gas and kind of waited for things to unfold. All right, we're going to try to go back and find the incident with Mark Math and Nathan Rostasil. All right, here we go. We actually do have it. So let's see what happens here. Whoa. What in the world? Watching the 88 of Nathan Rostasil. Whoa. Okay, well, about the wildest netcode I think I've ever seen. Turns the 88. I mean, a ghost car basically turned the 88. And Mark Math, I mean, that's the toughest break of the night right there. Mark Math was completely it was completely fine. Both those cars were fine. And then they got the weirdest shotgun netcode that I have ever seen. We're actually going to go from behind. I want to show you what I mean. This is, what in the world happens here? Watching from right behind the 88 of Rasta Sills, the field came off turn number 2. This was way earlier in the race. Oh, man. The ghost car strikes on the exit of turn number 2. And again, as Rostisel comes back down, I mean, obviously his car is out of control. Mark Math gets in the side of him, and both these cars clobber the inside wall, Rostisel especially, up off the ground. And that's what brought their nights to an end. Man, what a tough break for those two cars. Shotgun netcode turns Nathan Rostisel, and Mark Math, an innocent bystander, gets involved. And a it's a tough break for those two guys. Yeah, the ghost car. Wow. I've never seen anything like that. You see something new every day here in Tuesday Night Thunder. And no different there. So overtime will be required here from Talladega, and we will have to kind of gauge who is still in raceable condition. I do believe that will end the nights of Chris McCullough and a couple of other cars. It'll end the night for Chris McCullough. Oh, no, he's actually back out on track. Same with Dylan Jones, so nobody's night ends right there. Everybody will still be on the lead lap that was in that incident. So we'll re-rack and try the first of 3 potential attempts at an overtime finish. Again, 3 available to us, and it's a good thing, I think, that we're getting to the end because the sun has started to set off the front stretch grandstands there by the start-finish line. I noticed it got considerably darker. And, yeah, the sun has, I believe, begun to set. So it's not going to present an issue. It's not quite that dark. If you were with me for the Dega Pros Little Guys series back earlier in the season, like round 2, the sun went down with about 15 laps to go, and we were completely in the dark with 10 to go and wrecked him up a couple times, and the race was called. I don't think we're going to have that tonight, but certainly it is considerably darker than when we started the race. So these guys got to get this one done and over with here pretty quickly, or we might have darkness as a factor as well. Matthew Baker, Logan York will be row number 1. Andrew Navarro and Matt Lee will be row number 2. Garrett Maines, Nash Rambilla, row 3. David Sheets, Trevor Osbornoff, row 4. David Drohan and Mark Vondell will be on row number 5. Here are the rest of the lead lap cars who will have a chance to win this race. Tony Cox in 11th. Jared Haynes in 12th. It is John Mullihan 13th, Kenny McCullough 14th, Brock Westmoreland 15th, Dylan Jones 16th, Jason Maines 17th, Chris McCullough 18th, and John Ward is back on the lead lap in 19th. 19 cars will settle it. If the leader gets to the white flag, this race is official. If not, 2 more attempts at overtime remain in tonight's race. Matthew Baker, the 2-time winner, brings him into the restart zone. We got leaders on the front row, winners on the front row, looking to go and get another win in the win column. Green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go. Overtime number 1 in Tuesday Night Thunder. Good start for the inside. Navarro, Maines all pushing on Matthew Baker. Outside doesn't get rolling as much. Logan York going to have to wait for the push from Matt Lee. Matthew Baker will be clear as they climb the banking. Andrew Navarro may get clear as they climb the banking. Can Navarro get to the lead, or does Matt Lee potentially give a push to Logan York? Navarro's trying to clear himself. It's going to be really close here as they hit the super stretch. Not quite enough to get clear. York has enough push from Matt Lee that he's able to get up alongside the 2 leaders. But now Lee, something's going on with the 0-4. He's got damage because the middle line is going backwards. Top line tried to roll. That was Tony Cox and Kenny McCullough, but no dice. Off turn 4. If we get back to the white flag, the race is over. Trouble. Nash Rambilla, Mark Vondell. The big one again. Jared Haynes, John Mullihan, Zach Range, and caution flag is out once again. The big one strikes. We did not make it to the white flag. And multiple cars involved in this one. This was right around John Mullihan. Now let's see if we can figure out what happens here. Oh, the bottom line stacked up. You see Trevor Osbornoff. He's off the back of David Sheets. Drohan gets bumped off the racetrack, and as he goes to come back up, they are momentarily 4 wide. And Drohan gets turned by John Mullihan and Nash Rambilla. And watch some of the hits right here. Big hit for Vondell. He's up and airborne into the catch fencing there in 3 and 4. Kenny McCullough, Jared Haynes, John Mullihan, Brock Westmoreland, Mike Davenport, Michael Triscaro, Zach Range, Tony Cox, William Schwindenhammer involved, Jason Maines involved. I mean, this is most of the back half of the field. You see Chris McCullough bail to the inside. He looks like he's got a new race car. Man, big wreck as the field came off turn number 4. We'll look from it from this angle here. Drohan gets turned to the right, and this is a violent crash. Shades of the 2009 race here at Talladega, the 2009 Aaron's 499 that saw a very early wreck similar to this one into the turn 4 wall. Kind of an accordion-style wreck. Man, Mark Vondell up airborne, still in the catch fencing. Haynes and Kenny McCullough know where they could go. They pile in. Mike Davenport actually appears to be okay. Zach Range, though, is in it. Jason Maines may be all right. Nope, loses the front end right there as well. Brambilla, big damage. Drohan, Mullahan, Tony Cox. Big damage on a lot of cars. We'll take one more look at it and then head back up to get you overtime number 2. So watch the stack up on the bottom side of the racetrack, starting with Trevor Osbornoff. You see right here at the bottom starts to stack. And as it stacks, Drohan, so he gets bumped down. It goes to rejoin and blend and gets collected by John Mullahan here. They were trying to fit 3 cars in a 2-car space. That does not work. And, man, big hit there for Mark Vondell. And several others get involved. The big one strikes the back of the field and sends us into overtime number 2. A lot of cars with big time damage here in this one. Their nights will come to an end. All right, so let's regroup the field for you. Overtime attempt number 2. And now the question becomes fuel mileage. Now, I don't think it's going to be a question for a ton of guys, but certainly might be a question for a few. You see Maines and Osbornoff down on the flat part of the speedway. So let's regroup the field, tell you who is damaged and who is not as we get ready to go back green here on our second overtime attempt. Garrett Maines is your leader. Trevor Osbornoff is second. Brock Westmoreland is third. Jason Maines is fourth. Chris McCullough is fifth. John Ward is sixth. Tony Cox seventh. Matthew Baker eighth. It is Andrew Navarro ninth. Logan York 10th. David Sheets 11th. John Mullahan in 12th. Jared Haynes 13th. Dylan Jones 14th. And those are the cars on the lead lap. Matt Lee as well going to come out on the lead lap. He had some damage on that last run, so it makes sense he would come to pit road. Nash Brambilla has gone a lap down in 16th position. So basically 15 cars are going to be able to contest this. Actually, Brambilla going to get out in front of the pace car, so it'll be 16 cars to contest. We'll have to double-check a couple of these cars. Matt Lee appears to be clean. Brambilla is not, though, so we'll have to wait and see what kind of speed there is on that car. Overtime attempt number 2 goes on the board, and now it's a little bit more interesting scenario. Garrett Maines is a former winner this season. He runs first, but look at the guys behind him. Trevor Osbornoff looking for his first win on Tuesdays. Brock Westmoreland looking for his first win. Jason Maines as well. Chris McCullough, John Ward, Tony Cox all looking for their first wins. Then 8th is going to be Matthew Baker. He's the first winner behind Garrett Maines back in 8th. Andrew Navarro looking for his first win in 9th. Then you have a winner, Logan York. David Sheets, John Mullahan, Jared Haynes, Dylan Jones, Matt Lee, Nash Brambilla all looking for their first wins of the season. So again, if we get to the start-finish line, this race is official, and we will end it right here. If not, we will have one more attempt. We do have one remaining attempt at a green-white checkered finish. And the sun has sunk just a little bit lower here off the front stretch grandstands at Talladega, indicating that we are, well, I thought we were getting into darkness. Now it's really sunny over here, so maybe it's not getting dark. Oh, well. Don't listen to me. I don't think it's actually getting that dark. We still have plenty of daylight here on the front stretch, perhaps just cloudy instead of dark. Into the restart zone once again. Overtime attempt number 2 about to go underway at Talladega. Tuesday Night Thunder. Can we get it done right here? Green flag is back in the air, and towards turn 1 they go. The inside gets held up behind Tony Cox, who leans off the racetrack but got in front of Andrew Navarro. Garrett Maines got a nice jump at the top side, is more connected. Maines jumps to the outside. That's going to help Trevor Oswanoth, who now will push, and only 2 cars remain on the bottom, Brock Westmoreland and Chris McCullough. The outside is the place to be, but it is ultra stacked up. There's going to have to be somebody that leans out of line. Navarro, if he goes all the way up to third in the bottom, he may be taking himself out of contention. Down the backstretch, potentially for one of the final times. If we get back to the start-finish line, this race is official. Bumping around back there around Jason Maines. Does everybody keep it straight? Matt Lee 3 wide. Oswanoth goes to the bottom. Now, I don't know if I like that move. I probably would have stayed top if I was the 89. He's got to look back top. I think the run comes trouble. Behind him, Matt Lee, and the caution flag is out. Oh, I thought we were going to keep it green there. But another caution flag for a wreck all the way at the back of the field. And again, we are under the yellow flag, and we will use that third overtime attempt. Let's go back and see it. It was involved Matt Lee. I know that for sure, the 0-4. What happens here? Back here on John Mullahan and Matt Lee. Man, Mullahan was up trying to maybe get in the middle lane, and he doors Matt Lee, and as he comes off the 0-4, to get some help. Oh, boy. Well, I don't want to speculate. I'm kind of curious. We'll go. Okay. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to say anything until we're on board with John Mullahan. I want to get an on board from John Mullahan just before I speculate. But this one does not look very good. Let's perhaps see if I'm right here. I think Mullahan gets loose. He definitely gets loose. Oh, man. I mean, again, I hate speculating on stuff like this, but this one looks pretty cut and dry. We'll take one more look at it. And I'll kind of let you decide for yourself here before I go on the onboard and we for sure get an answer. To me, by the time John Mullahan comes back up the speedway, I think he's got it back under control. If that's the case, then this was a very conscious move to turn back to the right. He gets him right there. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cut and dry to me. Again, we will go on board with John Mullahan. I do not like speculating about wrecks like this, but this is about as cut and dry as it can get. We're on board with, we're on board with Matt Lee. Let's go to John Mullahan. You're on board with the two of John Mullahan. And as the broadcast booth said in the 2010 Atlanta Cup race, when Carl Edwards got into the left rear of Brad Keselowski, guys, those white gloves, they took a turn to the right. So, some payback, some tempers flaring here at the end of Tuesday Night Thunder as Matt Lee gets turned by John Mullahan. And we have been put under our fourth caution of the night and our third overtime attempt. Now, I will tell you, Trevor Oswanoth, he was not going to be good on fuel. He has come to pit road. So Oswanoth, unfortunately, gives up second position, comes to pit road. So now your question would be, how much gas does Garrett Maines have left in the tank, the only car up front not to pit under one of the last two cautions? We will wait and see. Osborne will have some work to do from back there behind J.R. Miller and company. He will get a few more spots up in line, so he will have a look at this one. He's only scored in the 13th position, so we'll re-rack the field for you. Here is how they will line up for the final restart with 2 laps to go. This time, if a caution is out, the race is over. Remember that. The race is over at the moment of caution. If a caution flag comes out on this final overtime attempt, here is how they will line up. Garrett Maines is your race leader. Brock Westmoreland is second. Jason Maines is third. Chris McCullough is fourth. John Ward is battled back from a pit road penalty. He is in 5th position. Andrew Navarro is 6th. Matthew Baker is 7th. David Sheets is 8th. Logan York is 9th. And Dylan Jones is 10th. Tony Cox 11th. Matt Lee 12th. Trevor Osborne 13th. It is Michael Triscaro scored in 14th as the lucky dog car. Jared Haynes is scored in 15th. And Nash Brambilla is 16th, the last car on the lead lap. Again, this is our final overtime attempt of the night. 3rd out of 3. If a caution flag is thrown at any point in the next 2 laps, the race is over. If we get to the white flag, this race will be allowed to run. So really, in the next 2.66 miles, the caution flag comes out again. The race will be over. If not, we are racing this one out, and the winner will be crowned when we get back to the start-finish line after the next 2 laps. Does Garrett Maines have enough in the gas tank to get home for his 2nd win of the season? Jason Maines is on the flat as well as Matthew Baker. Do they have enough to get to the end? Can Brock Westmoreland pull off the win tonight, get himself in the playoffs, or will it be one of the guys behind him? Here we go. The final overtime, the final race start of Tuesday Night Thunder is about to go green. Into the tri-oval and looking to the Geico restart zone for the final time. Can the MCU Body Mustang get around? Does he have enough gas? Green flag is back in the air, and away they go towards turn number 1. Great pushing up bottom, great pushing on the top. Top is more connected, but the bottom got the better restart, and as such, Garrett Maines goes to the lead in 1 and 2. He surges forward. Jason Maines, does he get clear as well? If he does, expect him to jump out of line. I imagine he'll try for the win. There he goes. Jason Maines to the outside. The 12 wants the victory. Garrett Maines will now be pushed on the bottom by John Ward. It's a drag race, father and son, down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Where does the third line start? It's going to have to be Andrew Navarro, would be my guess, in the 44. Does anybody further back get a look at it? They're too far back. Trevor Osborne's losing time in a hurry. They're already a second back from the leaders. It's going to come down to these 11 cars. Into the trial for the second to last time. They will see the white flag when they get here. Ward blocks Maines. Jason Maines out of line. Jason Maines gets hung out. White flag. 1 lap to go in Tuesday Night Thunder. Westmoreland pushing Ward on the top side. Baker pushing Maines on the bottom side. Can Matthew Baker go back to back? Logan York is through as well. Westmoreland on the top, going to try to get a good enough push. Where will that push come from? Where will the big move come from? John Ward is going to pull even on the back straightaway, the owner of Hyper Motorsports. Does he get to victory lane tonight? Down the backstretch for the final time and into 3. John Ward gets clear. He's down to the bottom in front of Garrett Maines. Does Maines get a look off 4 to try to go for the win? Does Brock Westmoreland get a push here off turn number 4 from Chris McCullough? They separate a bit on the bottom. Baker coming up. They get separated. Maines still pushing. Does Maines try to squeeze middle? Probably not going to have a chance. Through the tri-oval, John Ward goes to victory lane. He wins at Talladega. They wadded up behind him, and the owner of Hyper Motorsports, John Ward, is back in Tuesday Night Thunder victory lane. Well, he bullied Jason Maines out of line coming to the white flag, and he holds off the charge from behind him on the last lap and is not even going to get to do burnouts. Ward gets the win. And again, no celebration, so we'll jump right into it. John Ward has locked his way to the playoffs with a win tonight at Talladega. Garrett Maines comes home second. Brock Westmoreland locks down a third-place finish tonight. Matthew Baker, 4th. Kristen McCullough in 5th. Logan York, 6th. Andrew Navarro, 7th. David Sheets, 8th. Jason Maines, 9th. And Dylan Jones rounding out your top 10. Matt Lee finishes 11th. Trevor Osbornoff in 12th. Nash Brambilla 13th. Michael Triscaro in 14th. Jared Haynes 15th. And Tony Cox in 16th. William Schwindenhammer finishes 17th with Stephen Harper in 18th. Zach Range 19th. And Mike Davenport finishes 20th. John Mullahan 21st. David Drohan 22nd. Mark Vondell 23rd. Kenny McCullough in 24th. J.R. Miller finishes 25th. Is Mark Math in 26th. Nathan Rostisel 27th. And Jeff Merck in the 28th and final spot tonight. We are going to move into your post-race show now. You'll get to hear from all three of your top three drivers. Stick around with us on PGR eSports. We'll be right back to open up the post-race show from Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, entering the post-race show portion of tonight's event. And we will start with our post-race interviews. The man who finished third, the driver of the Ford for Team PGR, and that is none other than Brock Westmoreland in the Ford machine. Brock, it's Dawson in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, man, you got me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. Well, look, a crazy finish. We had to use all three overtime finishes there. You found yourself really in one of the best spots on the racetrack. Now, obviously, that bit of a scramble happens coming to the white. Your guys' momentum gets broken. You still got to look. Is there anything you could have done differently right there to potentially make a move for the win?
Nah, I think when we all got jumbled up there coming to the white, I just had to kind of find a lane in the middle when Ward got knocked up in the chase. Luckily, I just went with Ward and give him a good enough push to not spin him out. I didn't know what was going to happen. I pushed him clear down the back. I didn't know what kind of run that outside line was going to get. I just tried to pinch it down as hard as I could on their doors. Yeah, I think that's all I could have done, really.
Well, nonetheless, a third-place finish, a good run for you tonight. You get all the way back inside the top three. A good points night for you, and as we approach the playoffs, got to imagine that means a lot. We have 4 weeks left after tonight. You know, what's the game plan going forward the next 4 weeks to try to make your way into the playoffs?
Yeah, just keep it consistent. This season I've been real consistent. It was top 10 for this race, so this should help a little bit, move me up a little bit. And yeah, just keep it clean. Try to get up, see if we can't get a win here in a week or two, and get locked in.
We certainly hope to see you continue to have a good runs, continue to have a good season, and contending for a playoff spot. Nonetheless, tonight, third place finish for you. Got to feel pretty good after a crazy race like that. A lot of big wrecks and a lot of chaos, a lot of fuel mileage things there at the end. And on the other end of the smoke, you come out in third position. So before I let you go and celebrate a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
I just thank all my teammates at PGR there for helping and doing a little spot in there when we got eliminated. And those guys, and thanks Garrett and John and everybody up there for a clean finish.
Well, a good finish for you, a third place run tonight. Congratulations. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Brock Westmoreland, the 4, the third-place finisher in tonight's race. We'll now move to the man who finished in second. I hope we're not interrupting him. I know they're having a bit of a conversation here post-race, but we're hoping we're not interrupting him. The man who finished second tonight, a winner on the season, another great points night for him, another strong run at the front of the field. And that is the driver of the 12, and that is Garrett Maines. Garrett, it's Dawson the booth to get a copy.
Sure.
Well, good finish for you, a chaotic finish there at the end. You see Ward jump out. He jumps up, bullies Jason out of the top lane. You had to look at it. Anything you could have done differently there to potentially get the win?
Dude, I feel bad for my dad on that one. I mean, that was a racing deal. It really, it looks like everybody just came together, three in a row pushing, and just wrong place, wrong time for everybody. But I think that was the difference, the turning point in my race. I mean, I needed us to stay side by side. I think John and Baker on the bottom is going to make a great trio. But I don't know. It just kind of broke up the momentum for us on the bottom just enough. I mean, it's a game of inches, and we lost by about probably less than 12 going into turn 3. So it is what it is. I mean, we were able to make it on gas. We didn't exactly have a perfect night, but we led the most laps, got some bonus points there. You know, not complaining really. I mean, I'm happy to always finish, you know, in the top 5 and get some money out of this. Also be getting a good points night. So I mean, at the end of the day, I cannot complain. It's a super speedway, and when luck sort of goes your way, that's better than getting wrecked. I've learned that recently, so I will take it. Shout out to Baker for the great push there at the end. Just, you know, wish we were able to get a little bit more out of it, but shout out to John for getting the win. I mean, it's a good race overall.
Well, great race, fun race to watch, and a fun finish there at the end. You talk about that good points night. Look, the regular season championship is going to be a war all the way to the end. Luckily, you have the safety net of that win. Another really great points night tonight. Bunch of bonus points piling up for you. 4 races to go. You know, what's the game plan? How do you separate yourself from the guys you're running with for the regular season championship?
Well, I don't think the last couple weeks have really helped me, I will say. But we had a really strong start to the season. I think if we can get another win, or at least just continue to have consistent points nights, it's going to come down to me and Baker. I think right now it is between me and him, but he's got the lead. So I think tonight probably balanced out. I don't remember where he finished in the stage. I don't know if you have that on top of head or not, but that's kind of the difference. If he finished good in the stage, then it's probably a wash for us tonight. But I don't know. It's going to be just staying consistent. I feel like, you know, if we continue to get the results and just come home with those top 5s and ideally get some stage points in the meantime, get the most laps led, do everything we can, then, you know, we'll be there at the end.
We'll certainly look forward to this points battle coming up the next 4 weeks. Going to be a lot of fun to keep track of. Tonight, though, a second-place finish. Like you said, a strong night for you. Led the most laps and got a ton of points, and that helps you a lot going forward. So before I let you go and celebrate and enjoy this one a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout-out to Scott at MCU Body, the guys at Linux, everybody that puts in all the work at Ryko. It's been great working with those guys, and big shout out to Jacob and Vroman, Ken, everybody that's been absolutely grinding to make those cars fast every week. Big thank you. Also, shout out to Left Court Brothers and FGR XL for their support.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us here for a second. Congratulations on the second place and a strong run tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, sir.
Garrett Maines, the second place finisher tonight, leads us to our winner, the man back in Tuesday Night Thunder victory lane, looking to make another playoff run here late in the season, a late push into the playoffs, and that is the owner of Hyper Motorsports, the 92 of John Ward, your winner tonight from Talladega. John, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy.
I got you, Dawson.
Well, look, a chaotic finish. You got to take me through that last sequence. We see a jump out there on turn number 4, coming to the white flag. Unfortunately, you have to bully Jason Maines out of line, but everybody gets it straight. You end up in victory lane. Take me through that last sequence.
Yeah, that was the last green-white checker there. I was actually going to work with Jason there if we can get hooked up. I don't know if I got squeezed, if Baker was pushing too hard, somebody came down, but my car ended up going up to the middle and forced Jason out, and I ended up with Brock, and Brock was pushing me. He had a little bit of damage on the right front, but he ended up getting me clear of Garrett. We were all saying that Garrett was going to run out. I jumped in front of Garrett, just waiting for him to run out of gas. He never did, and they never got a run on the outside. I guess that Brock had a little bit of damage, was holding them up, and I got the win there.
Well, late season push for you. Victory locks you in the playoffs. That's got to feel really good. And now Completely. I got to imagine it changes your mindset. You know, what does this do for your game plan now the rest of the regular season now that you've locked yourself into the playoffs?
Yeah. Obviously I missed a few races, but it just I'm gonna race just as hard. It's not gonna change much from my driving style, but I'm gonna still race hard and try to get some more wins as we go along, and go from there.
Well, a win tonight for you back in Tuesday Night Thunder victory lane, and so as we let you here celebrate just a little bit before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, PGR eSports, for broadcasting and everything that you guys do for this. Ron for hosting this event and this series. This is one of the best and the biggest money series there is. And just everybody that watches and everything, just want to thank everybody for spectating and coming out.
Well, it was fun to watch a chaotic finish, a fun one to watch, and you get the victory at the end. You're back in Tuesday Night Thunder victory lane. Thanks for talking to me for a second. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate it, and we will talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Dawson.
John Ward, your winner from Talladega Superspeedway, and that's going to just about wrap up our coverage from tonight's race in Talladega. John Ward comes away with a victory tonight in round 7 of the Tuesday Night Thunder series. What a race it was. A whole lot going on, field strategy, a whole bunch of wrecks at the end, a lot of cars with damage. And in the end, John Ward pulls through the smoke and locks himself into Tuesday Night Thunder playoff territory. This has been a lot of fun tonight. Later in the week, we're coming back for more racing. Thursday night, the Intimidator Superspeedway Series throws it back, if you will, to the Thursday Night Heat Series, which returns this week. A lot of fun coming up there. The Craftsman trucks are back on Thursday night. Trying to get you some info for that one. The Thursday Night Heat Series had a new time. It is a little bit different time, I believe. I'll double check that. Yes, so a little bit new time. We're throwing it back again to what we used to do. So about 10 p.m. we'll be qualifying. We'll be live probably sometime around 10:15 on Thursday night, as we have 2 heat races planned for Thursday night. If we get 50 drivers, 10 will be going home. We're throwing it back to the Heat Series where we eliminate drivers in an LCQ format on Thursday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come out and join us as we kind of take it back in time a little bit. It's going to be a heck of a time over there. Obviously, the race will then follow. The feature race will then follow after that. Friday night, we're back again with another date with the Xfinity Series race car on Friday night. A little bit later start this week for that series, a 10:30 p.m. grid time there for the Friday night series. I'll have you for all the action on PGR eSports, the Xfinity Series race cars at Talladega for 55 laps on Friday night. Next Monday, mark your calendar, 6 days from today, one of my favorite series to call is back. The Dega Pros Little Guys series returns on Monday night with a bevy of changes. We'll take you through the rule changes on Monday night as we get set for Season 5 of the Dega Pros Little Guys series. I hope you will come out and join me for that race. That's going to be a ton of fun, and I hope you do come out and join us on PGR eSports for that. We're back next week from Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm so excited. I love Atlanta. You know, last time me and Austin raved about how much we like Atlanta. Well, we're back at it next week in the Xfinity Series cars for another long race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Until then, John Ward is your winner tonight from Tuesday Night Thunder. Come out on Thursday and Friday and join us next Monday for the start of the Little Guys series. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday night with me here on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching Tuesday Night Thunder. Good night.